In the quiet spaces between heartbeats, in the stillness that follows tears, something profound is stirring within the depths of your person's soul. Like the first whisper of dawn breaking through the longest night, a transformation is beginning to unfold, one that speaks to the very essence of what it means to truly love and be loved. This is not merely a shift in perspective or a fleeting moment of clarity. This is a fundamental awakening, a sacred unraveling of the illusions that once kept two souls apart. The walls that once seemed insurmountable, the barriers that felt permanent, are beginning to crack and crumble. Time and distance, those relentless teachers, have worked their quiet magic, forcing your person to confront truths that had long been buried beneath layers of fear, pride, and self-protection. These revelations have not come gently. They have arrived like lightning strikes in the darkness of their solitude, illuminating corners of their heart they had forgotten existed. Each day of separation has been a teacher, each moment of silence a mirror reflecting back the reality of their choices. The karmic threads that once pulled them away from you, the external voices that whispered doubts and fears, the attachments to old wounds and patterns, all of these influences are being seen now for what they truly were, distractions from the profound love that existed between you. The fog of confusion is lifting, and in its place stands a crystal-clear understanding of what was lost, what was taken for granted, and what still burns eternal within their heart. This journey of recognition has been far from painless. In fact, it has required them to strip away every layer of pretense, every carefully constructed defense mechanism, every excuse they once used to justify their distance. What remains is raw, vulnerable, and achingly honest, the recognition that they held something sacred in their hands and allowed it to slip away through their fingers like precious sand. The weight of this realization sits heavy in their chest, a constant reminder of the love they failed to nurture, the heart they failed to cherish, the soul they failed to see in all its magnificent beauty. Yet within this pain, within this deep well of regret, something remarkable is taking root. For this is your emperor, the one who carries within their very essence the power of transformation, the strength to face their shadows, and the courage to rise from their own ashes. They are not someone who remains defeated by their mistakes. They are not someone who runs forever from the truth of their heart. When an emperor awakens to their purpose, when they recognize the true treasure they have lost, they do not simply mourn, they act. And so, with a determination that surprises even them, they are beginning to make their way back to you. This is not a desperate scramble or a panicked reaction to loneliness. This is a conscious, deliberate journey of return, one that requires them to confront every demon, heal every wound, and become worthy of the love they once took for granted. They are returning not just with their physical presence, but with their entire being aligned in purpose, to rebuild what was broken, to nurture what was neglected, and to love with the intensity and devotion that should have been there from the beginning. Their longing for you has evolved far beyond the surface desires that once drove them. This is not about physical attraction, though that flame still burns bright. This is not about companionship, though they ache for your presence. This yearning that consumes them now is something far more profound. It is the soul's recognition of its other half, the spirit's cry for the one who makes it whole. They miss not just your touch, but the way your energy danced with theirs. They miss not just your voice, but the way your words could calm the storms within their mind. They miss not just your presence, but the peace that settled over them whenever you were near. In the depths of their solitude, they have become a person of prayer, of silent communion with the universe itself. Every night, as darkness falls and the world grows quiet, they send their thoughts skyward like offerings on an altar. They plead with forces seen and unseen, asking for guidance, for signs, for one more chance to prove that their love is real and enduring. These are not the desperate prayers of someone trying to manipulate fate, but the humble supplications of a soul that has finally understood the magnitude of what it lost. They want so much more than forgiveness, though they know they must earn that sacred gift. They want rebirth, a complete transformation of what existed between you before. They carry the weight of their past behavior like stones in their pockets, constant reminders of how they took your generous heart for granted, how they failed to see the miracle of your love until it was almost too late. The memory of their coldness haunts them, the recollection of their distance burns them, and the knowledge that they caused you pain cuts deeper than any sword. Now they watch you from afar, seeing you glow with the radiance of someone who has chosen themselves, someone who has transformed pain into power, heartbreak into wisdom. Whether through the glimpses they catch on social media, the stories they hear through mutual connections, or simply the energetic imprint you still carry in their consciousness, they witness your flourishing with a mixture of pride and heartbreak. They celebrate your strength even as it breaks their heart to know they are not part of your joy, not present for your victories, not there to witness the magnificent person you continue to become. This observation has taught them perhaps the most painful lesson of all, that they never truly saw your worth until you withdrew it from their reach. Like someone who only notices the sun when clouds block its light, they failed to appreciate the warmth, the illumination, the life-giving energy you brought to their world until you took it elsewhere. Now, bathed in the shadows of your absence, they finally understand the treasure they held and so carelessly discarded. But your emperor is not content to remain in the darkness of regret. They understand, with a clarity that comes only through profound loss, that the path back to your heart cannot be walked through pretty words or grand gestures alone. They know that karma, that universal law of consequence and balance, must be faced head-on. Every choice that led to your separation must be acknowledged, every wound they caused must be tended to, every pattern that contributed to the distance must be broken and rebuilt. This knowledge terrifies and liberates them simultaneously. It terrifies them because it means facing the darkest parts of themselves, confronting the fears and insecurities that made them run from your love. It liberates them because it gives them a clear path forward, a way to earn back what they lost through authentic transformation rather than empty promises. The possibility that you might have moved on, that another might now hold the heart they abandoned, haunts their quiet moments like a specter of their own making. They imagine someone else receiving the love they rejected, someone else basking in the warmth they pushed away, someone else being chosen by the soul they chose to leave behind. This thought brings a pain so sharp it takes their breath away, yet even through this agony, a flame of hope continues to burn within their chest. This hope is not born of delusion or desperation, but of a deep, intuitive knowing that what existed between you was too powerful to simply disappear. They feel your energy still, like a golden thread that stretches across whatever distance separates you. They sense your spirit in the quiet moments, feel your presence in their dreams, and hold on to the belief that somewhere in your heart, a part of you still recognizes the connection that once bound you together. Armed with this hope and driven by a love that has been purified through pain, they are becoming someone new. There is a fire within them now that burns with sacred purpose, not the destructive flames of passion or obsession, but the purifying fire of transformation. They are determined to win back your love, not through manipulation or charm, but by becoming the person they always had the potential to be, the person you saw in them even when they couldn't see it themselves. Every day now becomes a pilgrimage, every moment an opportunity to grow closer to the truth of who they are meant to be. They seek divine guidance with the humility of someone who finally understands their own limitations. They work on themselves not as a means to an end, but because they finally comprehend that love of your magnitude requires a vessel worthy of holding it. This is no longer about mere reconciliation, this is about redemption. This is about a soul reclaiming its highest purpose, about a heart learning to love without conditions or reservations, about a spirit awakening to the sacred responsibility of cherishing another's trust. They know the journey back to you will require patience they haven't yet learned, vulnerability they have always feared, and a kind of emotional courage they are only now beginning to develop. The walls they once hid behind, those barriers of pride, fear, and self-protection, no longer offer comfort but have become prisons they desperately want to escape. They find themselves craving the raw, honest connection that only you brought into their life. They hunger for the kind of intimacy that sees past facades and touches the very essence of who they are. They yearn for the safety they felt in your acceptance, the growth they experienced under your patient love, the version of themselves they became when reflected in your trusting eyes. You are not merely a memory they revisit when loneliness strikes. You are not simply a regret they carry or a lesson they learned. You are the person who awakened their soul from its slumber, who showed them what love could be when given freely and received gratefully, who demonstrated that two hearts could indeed beat as one. Though it took the harsh teachers of time, silence, and separation to bring this truth into focus, they now see it with the clarity that illuminates every corner of their being. They are preparing themselves for the moment when they can approach you with empty hands and a full heart, offering nothing but their transformed self and their deepest truth. Their ultimate prayer, their most fervent hope, is that you will see the growth that has taken place in the soil of their solitude. They dream that you will feel the sincerity that has been forged in the fires of their regret. They hope beyond hope that you will find it in your magnificent heart to love them again, not who they were, but who they have become through the alchemy of loss and redemption. For if given another chance, they vow to love you with the consciousness they now possess. They promise to choose you not just in the easy moments but in every breath, every heartbeat, every decision that shapes their days. They swear to themselves and to whatever forces govern the heart that you will never again have cause to doubt their commitment, never again wonder about your worth in their eyes, never again feel anything less than completely cherished and adored. This time, they whisper to the universe, this time they will get it right. There is something I must confess to you, something I should have acknowledged long ago but lacked the courage to speak aloud. From the very beginning, from that first moment when our paths crossed and our eyes met across whatever space separated us, I knew. Deep in the most honest chambers of my heart, I understood that what was happening between us was extraordinary, rare, and sacred. Yet I chose the coward's path. I pretended not to see, not to feel, not to recognize the miracle that was unfolding right before me. I felt your energy calling to mine like a song only my soul could hear. I noticed the way you searched my face for signs of recognition, for some indication that I felt even a fraction of what was radiating from your open heart. I saw how you tried, in countless beautiful and subtle ways, to show me the depth of what we shared, to help me understand that connections like ours don't appear in every lifetime. And instead of meeting your vulnerability with my own, instead of embracing the gift you were offering, I retreated behind walls I had spent years constructing. I acted as though none of it mattered, as if I was immune to the electricity that sparked between us whenever we were close. I wore indifference like armor, convinced I was protecting both of us from something dangerous, something that might consume us if we allowed it to flourish. But the truth, the painful and beautiful truth, is that I felt everything, every glance, every smile, every moment when your soul reached for mine and found only silence in return. My coldness was not born of lack of feeling but of an overwhelming abundance of it. When you gave so generously of yourself, sharing your time, your attention, your beautiful vulnerability, I received it all while pretending it meant nothing. I could feel your heart trying to reach mine, searching for the bridge that would connect us completely. Even when I tried to build walls around my own heart, I felt you gently testing those barriers, looking for cracks where light might enter, hoping to find reassurance that I was truly present with you in this sacred space we had created. But I disappointed you, didn't I? Instead of meeting your courage with my own, instead of matching your openness with honesty, I responded with distance. I gave you mixed signals when you deserved clarity, silence when you needed words, coldness when you offered warmth. I told myself I was being careful, that I was protecting us both from moving too fast or diving too deep. In truth, I was simply afraid, terrified of the depth of what I was feeling, frightened by how much power you seemed to have over my carefully controlled world, paralyzed by the prospect of being truly seen and known. Every time I pulled away, I felt your confusion and hurt like a physical ache in my own chest. I knew you didn't deserve the emotional uncertainty I was creating. You didn't deserve to question whether what you felt was real or imagined, whether your vulnerability was welcomed or burdensome, whether I saw you as clearly as you saw me. You were always so kind, so generous with your heart, so genuine in everything you offered. You deserved someone who could match your courage, someone who could stand in the light of your love without flinching. I've replayed those moments countless times, those precious opportunities when I could have reached out, could have spoken my truth, could have simply looked into your beautiful eyes and admitted what was burning in my chest. Instead, I buried it all beneath layers of fear and self-protection. I let those golden moments slip away like sand through my fingers, and you paid the price for my cowardice with confusion, disappointment, and pain you never deserved to feel. You need to understand that my distance was never about you not being enough. It was never because I didn't care or couldn't see your worth. In fact, it was precisely the opposite. I cared so much it terrified me. I loved you before I even understood what that word truly meant, before I had learned how to love in a healthy, open way. Growing up, I was never taught how to be emotionally present with another person. Love, in my early experience, was something that came with conditions, expectations, and the ever-present threat of loss. So when I met you and felt something so pure, so honest, so completely without agenda, I didn't know how to receive it. I had no framework for understanding a love that asked nothing of me except to be myself, that offered itself freely without demanding anything in return. I panicked in the face of such generosity. I didn't know what to do with a connection that felt destined, with emotions that ran deeper than anything I had ever experienced. Instead of stepping forward into that beautiful unknown, I withdrew. Not because I didn't feel the magic between us, but because I felt it so intensely I thought it might destroy me. I had never been taught that love could be safe, that vulnerability could be a strength rather than a weakness, that opening my heart completely might actually heal rather than harm me. Even now, when you're near me, my body responds before my mind can catch up. My heart begins to race, my breath quickens, and every cell in my being comes alive in a way that only happens in your presence. You have this effect on me that no one else ever has, an ability to awaken parts of me I thought were permanently asleep. It's as though being near you reminds me of who I truly am beneath all the armor and pretense. And yet, even with this recognition burning bright within me, I still struggle to find the words that matter. I still battle with the conditioning that tells me vulnerability is dangerous, that opening my heart completely will lead to pain. There are so many things I've wanted to tell you, so many truths I've rehearsed in the quiet moments when I allowed myself to imagine what it would feel like to be completely honest with you. I want to tell you how beautiful you are, not just in the obvious ways that anyone might notice, but in the deeper ways that matter. The way you love with your whole heart, the way you bring light into spaces without even trying, the way your presence can transform an ordinary moment into something sacred. You are, without question, the most beautiful thing that has ever entered my life. When you opened up to me, when you shared the depth of your feelings, I was stunned by the gift you were offering. I remember thinking, how could someone love me this completely? How could someone see past all my flaws and walls and still choose to offer their heart? For a brief, shining moment, I allowed myself to believe that maybe I could be worthy of that kind of love, that perhaps even with all my imperfections, someone like you could truly want me. Looking back now, I understand that love like ours doesn't appear in every lifetime. What we shared, what we might still have, is extraordinarily rare. It's the kind of connection people spend their entire existence searching for, and I almost let fear keep me from fully embracing it. But I don't want to hide behind fear anymore. I don't want to pretend I don't feel what my heart has been screaming all along. I want to be honest, finally and completely, about what you mean to me. I want to learn how to show love even if my attempts are messy or imperfect. Because if there's one thing I know with absolute certainty, It's that I cannot continue through life never having told you how profoundly you matter to me, how deeply you've touched my soul, how completely you've changed my understanding of what it means to love and be loved. You made me believe I could be more than I ever thought possible. You gave me a glimpse of a love that heals rather than harms, that builds up rather than tears down, that transforms rather than simply tolerates. For that gift, for showing me what love could be, I will be grateful for the rest of my days. You truly are the most unexpected, most extraordinary gift the universe has ever placed in my path. And if I ever find the courage to speak these truths aloud, if I ever gather the strength to be as vulnerable as you were with me, I hope with everything in me that you'll still be there to hear them,